This is Betsy Wiersma, and a wonderful thing happened during COVID. We had a COVID baby. A baby, a COVID baby. What are we talking about? Well, while all of us were hunkered down and being safe and being socially distanced, 62 brave women came together to share their story. 62 women said yes to writing a 1,000-word essay to uplift and inspire the world. 62 women brought the ingredients of their best self. Those ingredients were perseverance. Those ingredients were joy. Those ingredients were, gosh, it's such a yummy mix, it's hard to even capsulize them. But they all had one thing in common. Those women with those yummy ingredients mixed together stayed in the crock pot for 4 months and became a most yummy stew. Welcome to the Stew Authors. We are so happy to greet everyone as we are here today, and we are so happy to welcome the world to hear some of the stories behind the scene of the stew. So this was going to be a live event, but because of the COVID opportunity, we get to have a virtual event. And since everything works out in our favor, I think the good news about this is we can be now here live on Facebook and record this so people can hear and meet some of our amazing stew authors. You know, I knew no matter what we planned that these stories would be juicy and tasty and good, and that is what the stew is about. Smart Talk Exceptional Women, 60 women who volunteered their own insights to make a difference in the world. And we appreciate you joining us for this live broadcast today. Our last author that we're going to interview today not only is our poet laureate, she wrote a story for the book. She dedicated and donated many, many poems for the book, but the big news, she was the editor of The Stew. The crowd goes wild for Carol Calkins. Carol, introduce yourself, and let's first talk about your story.
Oh, I'm Carol Calkins. The name of my story is What's in a Word? And really what I do in my story is I focus on how I found my gift. And with a little help from my friends, some of them are on this call, I achieved my dream. At the age of, background-wise, I worked in healthcare and higher education as an administrator for 42 years. And near the end of that time, one of my dear, dear friends passed away from breast cancer. And so in my early 60s, what came to me was a poem. And the poem was called We Say Goodbye 1,000 Times. And one of the things in my background was people would always come to me at work to edit their work, to write first drafts. So I always knew I was a good writer. And it wasn't until I started writing poetry and it kind of just flowed through me that I knew the value of brevity, using very few words to paint a picture, express an emotion, tell a story. So for me, it was a very positive, creative experience. And what ended up happening is one poem became 10, became 100, and became more. And it was like, whoa, I have all these poems written down. And one day I was talking to a friend and she said, can you read some of your poems to me? And I said, well, sure. So I read about 4 or 5 poems and she was very attentive. And she just said, why don't you put them in a book? And for me, writing a book was always a dream, but I never knew it would be a poetry book. So one of the things that I realized, and I guess Betsy, one of your questions is, why did you do this? What inspired you? And I feel like there were 3 key things for me in this process. One is finding my gift and owning it in my early 60s. The other was asking for help, which we tend not to do, especially women. And that opened up to me all of these amazing people and women and camp sisters that helped me along the way. And then the other thing is taking one action, no matter how small, every day toward that dream, that goal. So for me, that's kind of how this whole thing flowed.
Well, you started at camp. We had Share Your Voice, which is also an important year for Eileen and Holly because Eileen was the keynote speaker that year and brought me to such tears I could not speak as the MC. When Eileen and her sisters and son and friends surrounded Holly Forlenza at Camp Experience Fall Retreat and sang Amazing Grace a cappella, I could not breathe. In I'm a public speaker by trade, as you know, and that moment was also the year we always said, what is it you always wanted to do? And I remember you sharing, I've been writing poetry. And next thing we know, we have been so blessed for you to share annual poems for holiday gifts, your many, many books. You've been such a blessing. So, but not only did I ask you to write a story, I thought in your spare time you might edit 90,000 words. So could you just tell the world, now that the truth is out, that you and your friend Carrie joined with Melissa Labatt, our designer, and Megan Osgood, the organizer of the entire project. This would not have been possible without the talents of these amazing women. So from your perspective of knowing all of these stories intimately, what would be like one thing or two things you would tell the world about the Stewbook?
I think I've read some of these stories 3 and 4 times. I have never seen compiled in one book so many heartfelt, powerful stories to inspire you. They're just amazing and uplifting. And like Betsy said, pick up the book, open a page and read it. It will be exactly what you need that day. And I've been doing that. And what's funny about some of the people on this call, Susan 42, Cheryl, yours is what, 52 or 62 or, I'm on page 92. But it doesn't matter where you go in the book, you will find really touching stories. I shed a lot of tears, and even reading them multiple times, I would shed tears the next time I read it. They are absolutely beautiful, exquisite stories.
Well, we cannot thank you, Carol, enough, and Carrie, and again, Megan Osgood, not on this call today because I did not ask her to write a story because she organized the creation of 90,000 words. 90,000 words. It's just been an incredible team effort. So the crowd goes wild to recognize Carol Calkins, not only one of the authors of a story, not only the author of many of the poems, but also the incredible editor of the Stew. So to end today, I want to do a shout out to our friend Cindy Tyler. She was not able to join us on the call today. Cindy Tyler's company, Vervante, is the publisher of the Stew. And this is how this worked. I was with a random person one day saying that I wanted to put my art into a card deck. And she was only sent to me for that interaction to tell me, have you heard of Vervante? It's a women-owned publishing company that helps people's dreams come true. And I never, ever saw that person again, right? It's one of those angels that dropped into my life to deliver one purpose, to tell me about Vervante. So the great backstory is I call and I say, hey, I'm an artist. I have these angels I've been making. I like to make a card deck. And I've got a marketing idea. What if I put Vervante on the card deck? Can I negotiate a better deal in my printing? And the person on the other end of the phone says, yeah. And I said, well, don't you have to ask your boss about that, or, to get a better deal? And she said, I am the boss. This is Cindy Tyler. I'm the creator of Vervante. I love your enthusiasm. I'd love to partner with you. I'll give you a good deal on your card deck. Let's go. And that was now before 2 card decks, 3 journals, 5 sets of cards, holiday cards, and the creation of the Stew. And this illustration is just to say to everyone listening that it's about the journey and the people you ask for help, right? Christy's got a curriculum, easy for me to say, curriculum coming out in 2021 when you might be listening to this podcast. it's because of everyone standing together that we help each other. We find the resources we need, and it's because of these amazing authors that we have the stew. So just to recount at the end of our telecast today, the stew is Smart Talk Exceptional Women. It is a 200-page art and insight book. The art is mostly by me. There's a couple pieces by others. We can all hold up our stew books. And the art was done in intention to create a really small book. But when I thought and prayed about it, I heard that book is about your girls. That book is all your girls. So everybody hold up your book. I'm going to snap a quick picture because we are multitasking. This is a so good picture. I got to wait for just a second as Christy gets her book. So this book was created to be a gift to people of the world. It is 62 stories of women who write uplifting insights and ideas, and it is available at campexperience.com/shop. That's campexperience.com/shop. And yes, it is arts and insights. This do Smart Talk Exceptional Women. And it is available at any time. It's available now. It goes to the Vervante bookstore, and you will be able to get your copy. We will have events in the future. Jill has a great idea about a book club event. Christy will help us join together and celebrate as a VIP event as soon as we can join together. And so many of the authors have such good work in the world. So check them all out on campexperience.com/the stew. And we appreciate all of the time and the energy for the authors coming together in this digital format. We appreciate the heartfelt sharing of your story. We appreciate your love and support for this crazy project. Again, we call out Megan Osgood, the organizer. We call out Carol Calkins and Carrie, her associate editor. We call out Melissa Levad, the amazing designer that made this happen. And we call out and say thank you to all of you who are supporting women coming together for art and insights for the world. This has been your hostess and stew mother, organizer, curator Betsy Wiersma, and the authors from the stew. And we look forward to more times we can come together to share as we do good and have fun. Thank you so much for enjoying this call today, and have a wonderful, wonderful journey in your life, uplifted and inspired by others who are all here happy to help you.